Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. Chris Williams here, licensed marriage and family therapist. I also have with me Dr. Jill Hubbard, our resident psychologist. How's it going, Jill?
Hello, Chris.
Good to see you. Well. And author, pastor, founder of Homeward, Jim Burns. How's it going, Jim?
Yes, it's going great. And we just found out, maybe you knew this, that Jill's favorite color is orange. She's in orange today.
I think that's new to you.
Yeah, it's new to me, not new to everybody else. So if they went on the YouTube channel, they would see orange.
Go on Facebook Live, go on YouTube, and you would see that Jill brings the color.
Oh, she does.
Brightens variations of orange.
Yes.
Or green.
She does.
Brightens our studio.
So my problem is I only have blue. So my wife goes,
I know.
"Can you wear something different? Because I'm in blue." And I go, "What, light blue? Because I only have dark blue or light blue. That's all I got."
That's all. Well, Jim, what's on your mind today?
You know, it's interesting because this morning I'm in a small group and we had the best conversation about a prayer that's found in Psalm 90:12. And the prayer says this: "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." And, it's a beautiful thing. Some of us have heard that before. But what's amazing is the conversation that we had, 5 men, talking about how we want to make our life count. What do we want to do to make our life count? And, we never talked about the election. And we never talked about our work. We talked about our families and wanting to, lean into that. We talked about our health. We talked about simplifying our life so that we could spend more time with God and serving God. And it was a really interesting thing. But I shared with them, I led the Bible study. I don't usually, but I led the Bible study today. And I shared with them a quote by Kay Warren. Kay Warren is a friend. And she went through some very tough times. In fact, she's been through lots of tough times. And there's a lot of our listeners who call because they're going through tough times. And I gave them this quote, and it kind of blew us all away. Kay is very open about her son, Matthew, committing suicide and the pain that she and her husband, Rick Warren, Saddleback Church, went through. And this is her quote. She said, "Someone recently asked me how I survived my son's suicide, and I told him, I sent my spiritual roots deep into the character of God for more than 50 years. Circumstances tried to brutally rip out the tree of my faith, but the roots held."
Wow.
And I think that's powerful.
Wow.
What the lesson for us is we need to number each day, make each day count, but do the work by building deep roots. Because, nobody promises that life's going to be easy. And things come at us, and sometimes it's not even our fault. Sometimes we've made some silly decisions. Other times it's a family member or someone, it's somebody who has addiction or somebody who has some kind of a painful thing going on, and we can't do a lot about it. Yeah. Obviously, in a suicide, you can't. But, what she says is, build your roots in the character of God. And so that means we've got to do the work it takes to prepare for those storms in life because they are going to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just think that that's such a reminder that so much of what we get our anxiety wrapped around, our depression wrapped around, our life circumstances around are in the temporal things of life.
Yes.
And we all do it, and it's easy. But that quote from Kay reminds me that your roots got to go into that which is eternal rather than that which is temporal.
Right. And it helps us in our mental health. It helps us in our relationships. It helps us with our relationship with God.
Yeah, that's so good. The truth of the matter is for many of us, our work is like the grass of the field, here today, gone tomorrow, as Ecclesiastes reminds us. But there is an eternal nature to our relationships, and that's what we're here to do, is to help you discover healthier, vibrant relationships, including a relationship with God that can dig our roots into eternity rather than the things that are temporal. So give us a call today. We'd love to talk to you. We're going to be in studio for one program today, so jump on that phone right away, 1-800-229-3000. Again, it's 1-800-229-3000, and we'll be back right after this.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all. Yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. Hey, if you're on Facebook, get off of those political posts and political ads. Get on New Life Ministries, and we're streaming live.
As long as you've already voted.
Yes, just go and vote.
Please vote.
Yes. But we'd also love you to like and share that on your Facebook feed. Right now, we're going to go right to the calls. We're going to go to Kathy in Waycross, Georgia, who connects with us through NRB. Kathy, how's it going today?
Hi there.
Hi. Well, tell us what's happening.
Well, I'm a 73-year-old female, and I'm almost 74. I'm a caregiver to my 65-year-old maternal brother, and I'm also parenting my 45-year-old daughter who lives with us. But I am burnt out.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I need to know how to get some help for him as well as myself.
Yes, help for your brother. And what's he going through? What's his condition?
He's always been cognitively slow, but now he's been diagnosed with going into some dementia and Alzheimer's. My life pretty much has been consumed with his care for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And I put my life, it's had to be completely put on hold because no other family member could take him.
Yeah. And is he living with you?
He does live with me.
Okay.
He's not here today. Thank God that another brother did take him out today away from the home. So, yeah.
That's good. That's good. So, Jill, what do you think?
Wow, Kathy. Well, 5 years is a long time to be, and I don't know if you're the sole caregiver. I'm glad to hear that you have siblings that will help once in a while. But do you have anybody that comes into the home at all to help with him?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I am the oldest of 5 children.
Okay.
My mother had, the 4 of us are living. And he was brought to me after his wife abandoned him. And he went into a real traumatic break at that time.
Yeah.
And the brother that has him today can only get him some days during the week, occasionally during the week. But I have to, the chauffeur, the cook, I wash his clothes, I have to take him for his doctor's appointments. When he's not here, of course, with that brother, I'm preparing for him because he's here at night. I have to keep him on a schedule or he gets disoriented.
Yeah.
I had to teach him a lot, and I had to learn a lot about how to deal with him because I did not know. There was no book to show me how to handle things.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you've done a tremendous job, Kathy, and that's quite, commendable that you have been committed to your family in this way. Have you been able to talk with your other siblings about, as his condition progresses, he's going to need probably even more care than you can offer? Is there a plan? Because, you're 73. It's going to get harder for you. And the more his dementia or Alzheimer's increases, it becomes quite difficult. And you're already saying it's difficult.
Yeah. There is no plan. They don't offer a plan except to feel like, hey, it's on me. You have to figure it out. The one brother said that he would take him, but he's not able to take him. He's had a couple of heart attacks.
Right. So what I'm suggesting is that everybody just wants you to take the responsibility because they don't want it. I understand that. So, and they're doing some, but not the bulk of it. I think calling a family meeting and saying, I am burning out as his, again, his condition increases. We as a family need a plan. And if they say, well, you're the plan, you're not the plan long term. That's where you have to speak up. And I understand they have excuses why they can't. I'm asking if all of you could put your heads together. And
we've had the family meetings many times.
Okay.
And it's left with anger and bitterness towards me because they can't. They can't. One is ill. The other has her son that's in and out of jail, and so there are only two others.
Right. Okay. So I understand that, and I'm not suggesting that he gets pawned off on the others. I'm saying for all of you to think about what are the resources, what are the community services, what are the nursing facilities, what can you do? I'm just asking for their, kind of their intellectual input.
And Kathy, I have a thought too, because I've seen this happen many times.
Yeah.
For one thing, you probably can't keep doing this because what it's going to do is take you down, and then it's going to be even more of a mess. Social services. Jill mentioned the word community services, and I'm suggesting that you call a social worker. Even your church can help you find that person. You can go online and look at it, because they actually do have things for caregivers.
Yeah.
They have, for one thing, there's daycare for people who are over 65 and in his condition, and so that gives you an out there. There's also time. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's kind of like with little children. There's times when you can actually go away. They could, or get him, kind of a respite time. And actually, our government, believe it or not, pays for this a lot of times. And so I have found that when somebody is in the midst of it, it's so hard to pull back and then go talk to somebody else. And you're not abandoning your brother. You're actually helping your brother, and you're helping you so that you can have more strength to be with your brother. So I'm suggesting that you go and talk with somebody who actually, they will know exactly what you're going through. They will care when your family it's too personalized sometimes. So again, you want to have those family meetings, but they can help. Just say, I need a plan. What is offered out there? They can walk right through that with you. And I'm not saying it's simple. Please don't hear that. But I am saying that there are plans for people in your situation, both for you and for your brother. And it can also help your brother big time. So you may want to look at that that resource that we have. That's one of the very good things of living in the United States, living in Georgia where you live.
And Kathy, to plan now, because you don't want there to be a crisis because you've broken down and now you can't take care of him.
Right.
So having a transitional plan where there's increased help to come alongside you and support you. But then I'm also curious, you said you're also caring for your 45-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
So you're older than both these people, and you're caring for them? And why are you in that position with your daughter?
Well, she came from, she moved back, and it's just, she works. She's very responsible and, giving a share to the household. But outside of that, she does nothing. She pretty much just a household member. She does allow him to go with her so that he can be picked up by the other brother some during the day. But she had some kind of trauma early on where she would not, could not, did not learn to drive. And no matter how much I tried to tell her, you need to go on and get over whatever happened and get to driving. We could get you a car and you could help so much. but she doesn't. She doesn't go there.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, because I think you have some really, really good suggestions here and important ones, and they do take a little bit of more initial work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when we're dealing with county services or social services, we got to be a squeaky wheel. Mm-hmm. We got to pursue it. If you don't like the first answer, don't accept it as the final answer. Right. Mm-hmm. Keep pursuing, because, again, there are, as Jim was saying, services out there that they're required to provide. And so the help you need is absolutely essential. And I would highly, highly suggest that your daughter sees an EMDR therapist, because that process of eye movement desensitization reprocessing therapy really helps specific traumas very well.
Mm-hmm. She is seeing a therapist.
Okay,
but
good.
She doesn't share with me a lot of what she's doing or what's going on.
Yeah.
What does the EMDR mean? What does that mean?
It's just an acronym for eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It's always a mouthful.
I know it's a mouthful, but it's a form of treatment for trauma.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's got a specific phobia now about driving, too.
Yes.
So it can help unlock that. So it's in addition to the therapy she's doing.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will see a specialist in conjunction with their therapist if their therapist doesn't offer it.
Yeah.
Right. And that therapist would know about that,
sure,
too. You could bring that up, that you would talk with us. And she could actually probably run that by the therapist. Pretty good chance the therapist would think it was a great idea.
Right. But I also want you to look at the fact that you have a lot of somewhat helpless people around you. And it might be good, Kathy, to reflect on what you contribute to that. I mean, it sounds like, okay, your daughter works, she's helping financially, which is awesome. But, I mean, she's old enough to do her own laundry and to, help with the household. But as long as you keep doing it, if you're waiting for other people to give you permission to stop, they're never going to.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good comment. Yeah, the under-functioners love over-functioners.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, yes, absolutely. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for calling today. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, and hopefully that will help you in your journey. And again, we want to encourage you, invite you, cheer you on as you seek the help that you need for your brother and also for your daughter. So again, thank you so much for calling in today, Kathy. We're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Susie in Los Angeles, California, listening on KKLA. Susie, talk to us today. What's going on?
Hi. Wow. I'm a little intimidated. So just a little background. I have called before maybe 23 years ago, so I'm a long-time listener. I'm a graduate of the Townsend Institute, got my master's in counseling, which was amazing, and now I'm working towards my clinical licensure. And my last boss, the director of the agency, clinical supervisor, ended up kind of bullying me. And anyway, my mental health has been greatly affected, and he's appealing the unemployment department's decision that I'm eligible for benefits based on having worked in an environment that was harmful to my physical and emotional health. And I'm just having a lot of continued stress about a situation that I got out of based on this person. So I just need some encouragement to face my fear and also not give up on trying to, get my goal of licensure. So I hope that made sense. I've been working in Orange County substance abuse, which is a little bit of a oversight. It's not really overseen as much as it could be. So there has been facing a little bit of corruption as I just try to find a job to work. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim, go for it.
Susie, amazing. My daughter had the exact same thing. She was getting her hours. Her supervisor, I thought even, because she talked to me about it. She also talked to Kay Yurkovich. And and Kay's advice, who's an incredible counselor, Kay said move from that supervisor and move on, because there's some supervisors that just are horrible. I realize you're involved in a suit and other things, but find a supervisor that nurtures you, that is caring for you. And I think a lot of our other listeners have to understand that when people are getting their hours and whatnot, they do supervision. That's the beauty. That's a beautiful thing. But find somebody who can help you with your issue, and that'll help you become a better counselor. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's important, Susie, and I'm sure you are, to be in therapy as you're going through learning how to be a therapist, because you have to become really clear on your issues. And remember, workplaces become like families, and so our issues do get triggered. And so to really look at where that's coming up for you so that you can build some resiliency in the future with difficult people.
Absolutely. Well, Susie, you hear the music, and we're going to head to a break here. But there's a couple things I want to finish up to encourage you along your way right when we come back, right after this break. And if you want to give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be right back.
About 4 years ago is when I discovered my husband's addiction. I heard about New Life. It has been life-changing for me and for my husband both. It was direction when we were lost, and it was hope when we had none. The help that we received from New Life has been multifaceted. My husband did the Every Man's Battle workshop. We did the marriage weekend. We are avid listeners of the radio and TV programs, and I think those are awesome, wonderful resources. And I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. I believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To make your tax-deductible gift, visit newlife.com and click Donate. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. That's NLM to 28950.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us. Susie is with us. Susie, you've gotten your education, you're getting your hours, but you've been in some really, really tough work environments, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this last one, I was having a lot of nightmares and insomnia and just very high turnover. The person had a very poor reputation. And so now having to face him, in court, trying to appeal the decision that I'm eligible for unemployment benefits is scary and causing me stress. And I could definitely use some encouragement and support. Thank you.
I think the biggest encouragement is an invitation and a challenge. Get into your own therapy. Our workplaces can often be traumatic events in our life and traumatic experiences. And we don't want to overlook that. And we don't want to overlook the power, especially when they create fear. Right. And one of the things that is going to attack you early and often is your credibility and therefore your confidence to do your job.
Well put.
Yeah. And so you want to hold on to your credibility, which includes humility, places you want to grow, places you still need to develop in, but as well as confidence, the confidence that, hey, God has called me into this, I've gotten the education, and, sitting in front of other people, serving them the way I know how is a great benefit. Right. And we have to have people around us to remind us on both sides. Hey, there's some areas you can grow in, and I love you, and you're great, and keep going. I'm really impressed or really encouraged by the way in which you're working with others. And that's what really a good supervisor should be doing.
Right.
And I'll share a quick story, Susie. I remember early on, I got a supervisor who was done supervising. And all of my colleagues around me were like, how in the world did you get this guy? I can't believe that you're able to be supervised by him. And my answer to them was, I just asked him.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I went up to him, told him that I would love to be under his guidance and supervision, and I asked him. And what I mean by that is so many times fear can stop us from making some bold moves that we need to make. So address your fear and move forward. You don't have to settle for horrible situations and horrible environments.
Right. And sometimes in the workplace, you do have to have the supervisor they provide for you. Mm-hmm. But you can also go out and get other supervision.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to pay for it, but someone that can nurture you along, because not all therapists are created equally.
Absolutely.
Nor are supervisors. And we think that they are going to be nurturing and caring because they've gone into this field. And that just isn't true.
Yes.
Everybody has their own issues, and if they're not clear on those, it becomes a problem.
It pops up for sure.
And interesting enough, you've been at the Townsend Institute, and you said you were in Orange County, California, where the Townsend Institute is housed. They may have some amazing people who you could come to who understand you and understand your need. And like you said, you're not getting that in this right now in this drug rehab. You're getting hours that you need.
Yeah.
But you're not getting probably what you need from supervision. Look elsewhere.
I quit 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just still looking for something.
Sure. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, to Jim's point, use your network in that.
Yeah.
And so Susie, we're going to send you a copy of the book Trust. I think that yes, because that book really shows us what are the things inside of us and other people that are trustworthy and what are not, and it helps us look for work environments that are healthy, as well as takes a mirror and looks at ourselves and things that are unhealthy and healthy in us. So, Susie, we cheer you along in your efforts, in your career, in God's calling in your life. I know that really hard work environments, and I've been in them, can be really, really defeating. But
hang in there, Susie.
Keep going.
It gets better the longer you're in this field.
Yes, absolutely. So, again,
I really appreciate your direction. Thank you so much.
No problem at all, Susie. Well, hey guys, there's this remarkable thing, and the remarkable thing is this: our opportunities for growth and healing never end, and this other really kind of a bummer thing is our challenges never end.
Right.
And so, but this past weekend, an 80-year-old woman joined us at the Restore Intensive. She had recently learned of her husband's affair for 25 years. Or actually, I'm sorry, her husband's affair that happened 25 years previously.
Okay.
And we've had men in their 80s attend Every Man's Battle to break free from decades of bondage to porn. The path to healing really doesn't have an age limit. It's not discriminant upon age. Our problems aren't, but also our healing are. And I just want to remind everyone, it is never too late.
We never arrive.
Yes, we never arrive, and it's never too late to address your issues. So be encouraged by these people. Take the step towards healing, whether it's attending one of our intensives, getting a counselor, joining a life recovery group, taking a step towards healing. Let us help you. We can do that. Give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we're going to go and jump right back on the phones. We're going to go to Mary in Gaithersburg, Maryland, listening on WAVA. Mary, how you doing today?
Okay. The reason I'm calling is we fostered someone. She was 14, had lost her mom, and her dad wasn't involved. It was a difficult situation. We were in and out of her life. She aged out of the program. And then she had a couple kids. She had a kid taken from her. And we kind of lost track. It just wasn't a good relationship for us to be with.
Yeah.
And she's now reached out, and we're trying to figure out how to set some good boundaries. Not get back in.
Yeah, that's really good. So let's do this. I went to you right before break, but we're going to head to a break right now, and we will come back and help this really important question. How do I set boundaries with a person that we've cared for, but is in a tough and difficult situation. So, Mary, hold on, and we're going to come back to you right after this.
Five years ago, I had been in porn addiction, and I'd had a sexual relationship out of marriage.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography. Find help today at New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive.
It was the first time I'd ever divulged the sin that I had.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
I found a confidential comfort that was able to put a flame to a start of a healing process.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Thank you, New Life. They're the redeemed, man. Thank you.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Glad that you're with us today. We're talking with Mary. Mary, so you had fostered this woman when she was 14.
For how long, Mary?
She lived in our house for 6 months.
Okay.
And then found that we weren't a good placement, but we kept in touch with her, and we would have her for weekends and stuff. Then she lived with us for about 3 months after she aged out of the program.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And again, it didn't work out.
What was the reason why it didn't usually work out?
Well, she's bipolar and schizophrenic.
Oh,
and so,
you didn't mention that. Okay.
That's very helpful information.
Yeah.
So she's schizoaffective, like she has both disorders that alternate? Okay. So that's schizoaffective, when you have both schizophrenia and bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in fact, that's how she came to us, because she was in a home and she heard voices telling her to hurt people in the house that she was in. And so she was hospitalized and then brought to us.
Mm-hmm.
But just, I mean, she had 2 kids. Her first one was given up for was taken for adoption. She got the second one back when she was about 1.5 years. And then we didn't hear from her for like 2.5 years. Now, all of a sudden, Saturday, she texts us and says, we want to get together. And part of the problem, too, is my husband and I were not able to have children. We had a couple miscarriages. And I would dearly love to be a grandmother.
Yeah.
And this is the only way that I possibly can. And she knows it. And she's going to use it.
So you don't trust her, is what I'm hearing. I mean, on the one hand, you're have been a touchstone for her. So, a stable family that she comes back and can come back to. But you don't trust her, and I'm hearing. And do you fear that she's just wanting to use you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, that there isn't really this desire for a connection.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We suspect she had a baby when we lost touch. The baby will be 2, so not even a baby anymore.
Yeah.
And we suspect that she's on SSDI, and we suspect that she needs help financially.
So I think it's important, Mary, for you and your husband to decide ahead of time what you are comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with. What are the limits to what you're willing to give or not? And so that you're clear before, if you do decide to get together with her. Have you guys done that?
We have. It's just then we get together with her and then they kind of fall apart.
Yeah, the heartstrings get pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the recommendation to us was that we invited her to come to church with us so that it was a more controlled environment and that would help control her behavior somewhat.
Okay.
So we're going to do that on Sunday.
Okay.
First of all, I was floored that she agreed to come, but she did, and she'll have the 2 kids with her. And, you know, it's either financial or it's, you know, babysit, which of course I would love to do. But it just would not be good.
Right. But I think you have to recognize that your desire to have grandkids or children in your life, you already said it, could be used against you. And it's a whole package deal. You don't get the kids without her.
Right.
Right. And with some of her needs and things being put on you or requested of you. So that's where you have to be clear.
Well, and Jill, don't we need to recognize the severity of the condition?
Yeah. Like, is she on medication?
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, this may not be a safe person.
No.
And you may be so Mary, what you've already experienced, one of the things that our heartstrings tell us, especially when it comes to children, is that our hope gets in the way. And the hope is that it will be different, that she will get better, that she will somehow, and I'm telling you, you have to go with your past experiences. That has to set the baseline for reality right now.
And maybe one of the parameters is that in order to be in relationship, she does need to be on medication.
Yeah, under medical care and medication. Because this is a very, very serious condition.
It is. But with medication,
absolutely,
people can function.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. Well, that's why she lost the first child, because she stopped her medication.
Okay.
Right.
So she already has that with her to keep her children.
Right, and so then that child was given up for adoption, and then she got the second one. She had the second one. They took her when she was first born and put her right into foster care.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last we heard from her 2.5 years ago was that she was getting her back. And she was 4 in September, and like I said, the new one will be 2 in January. But especially with the fact her agreeing to come to church, I mean, it just sounds like, well, maybe she has changed.
Oh, hold on. No. That's an agreement to do one thing. So that's where the hope is pulling you off track.
Yeah.
Right? The evidence is so overwhelming to the contrary.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the things, Mary, I do not want to tell you this because it's hard. But I think the sooner that you could unhook your heartstring from her children being your grandchildren, the healthier you're going to be able to see this situation. Because she's not your daughter and those are not your grandchildren.
Right.
And so in that, it helps understand what are your limitations. Here's what we can do, and it's probably going to be very, very minimal. As heartbreaking as that is.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to see evidence of change.
Yes.
Not just the hope that she's changed. And certainly her getting her kids back is some evidence.
Yeah.
But then her interaction with you, that's going to have to be, seen over time. And I like that you're doing it in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you do for a while. And see if you could move forward.
Yeah.
And Mary, you're saying us. Tell me what your husband thinks.
when we first got involved in it, it was my decision. I really pushed for it. He wasn't 100% on board, and it caused real problems in our marriage. And that was one reason why they pulled her. Then when she came to stay with us after she aged out, it was my husband who really wanted her to come back and say, what kind of Christians would we be if we didn't take her?
Right.
And then that backfired.
Sure.
And he's really strong about not wanting to get re-involved, but I get frustrated because he says that to me, and he takes a real hard stand with me, and he tells me I need to, but then he's just as weak, I feel, when we're there with her, as I am.
Sure. Well, that's why when Chris said it's so important to have kind of a plan A at the beginning of this, just where you're going to go. Now, again, things can change, but the plan probably is, you're showing love by inviting her to church, but protecting you all. And I want to add to what Chris said about being a grandma. You got to divide these two. And you know what? At your church right now, there are single moms, there are couples who don't have grandma around. I'm telling you, I mean, we have a grandma. We call her Grandma Pam. She's not the biological, but I don't think my grandkids know any difference. And she's an amazing person, and part of her grandma need gets met by being the grandma to, some non-biological kids. And so you may be able to find a better way to serve somebody, right within your church, instead of being in the middle of this. I don't hear us saying, don't, not invite her to church. I hear us saying, walk so carefully, take the babyest of steps, make no promises, and see where that plays out. But in doing that, I think our natural is, we want to take care of those kids. And I get that. I understand that. At the same time, what Jill said to you was, if you take care of the kids, you're also, going to have to deal with the mom, who really, you've had an in and out relationship for some time. There's a lot of questions still to be asked of her.
Right, but I like that.
Basically, when we hear from her is when she needs something.
Of course. But I like getting your grandparenting needs met in other places and looking for those types of places that it may be in a healthier venue.
And quite honestly, Mary, I also think your marriage needs work. So we're going to send you a copy of How We Love. Oftentimes when marriages are in crisis, they find a common cause. That only add to the problems instead of resolving the problems, because the problems are, our ability to connect with each other and build a healthy marriage. So I also really highly encourage you to come to our marriage intensive, intimacy in marriage intensive that is coming up in February. Mary, we do appreciate your heart. Love that you're engaging in this way, and we're going to be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're so glad that you're with us. We are so glad for all of those who partner with us financially to help provide hope to hurting people like this particular man who writes in, I've spent the past 2 years watching my wife's affair lead to the destruction of our 16-year marriage. It was more painful to watch the impact on my 2 teenage sons. There were many times that I was in the car feeling defeated, blaming myself, hurting beyond belief. That's when your show would come on and it would give me hope. By sharing advice for others in similar situations, you provided me comfort and direction. You truly gave me hope for a new life for me and my sons. While I couldn't save my wife from the consequences of her sin or protect my sons from the pain that followed, your books also provided insight that helped me put our lives back together and chart a new course. I don't want to live a life of regret, so I press on, and thank you for your ministry that helps me and so many others do that. And that is exactly why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. We can't do it without our financial partners, both small and large, and it's all significant. So you can give online at newlife.com or just give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to partner with us in this life-changing ministry. We're going to go to one final call today. We're going to go to Jackie in Houston, Texas, listening on the internet. Jackie, talk to us. What's going on today?
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for taking my call and for your show. I've been listening for years and years. You guys have helped me through some very critical times in my life, so I appreciate you very much. I guess my question is, how can I help my adult son? I'm thinking that maybe he's questioning his sexuality. I don't know. If that's the case, he came to me not too long ago saying that he was thinking of maybe going to another church. And the church we go to is a mega church. But, being that, our pastor is a little bit vocal about his political stance, and we're not in alignment, I guess, with what, he is, anyway. And it just, I don't know, when I asked him, like, what's going on, why do you want to go to another church, or why are you thinking about it? He said, well, I don't know. He said, I just don't like how, they're, like, they talk about, like, they're not accepting of, gay people. Uh-huh. And I said, well, what do you mean? I said, that's, we're Christian. The thing about we don't. I said, you've never seen me talk.
So Jackie, let me jump in. So I hear a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Right. Mm. And that's okay. That's very normal, especially when it comes. How old is your son?
26.
26. Okay. And so it doesn't sound like he's given you a lot of information, but what is your greatest fear when it comes to your son?
I think that, and I'm being quite, just blunt and very candid. I guess my fear is that if he goes down that path, if he is doubting his sexuality, I feel like it's very hard to come back from that.
Okay.
I don't know.
And
he's had girlfriends before.
Well, hold on. Before you figure that out, because you don't have it figured out, what would it mean for you?
I guess my biggest concern is I want him to be safe. But and that's what I told him. Ultimately, we want our best for our kids, right? We want them to be successful. We want them to be, just do well in life. I said, but
But my biggest thing is that I don't want you, I don't want you to be condemned. I mean, that's
for sure.
bottom line.
Yeah. So.
And that's my biggest fear.
Yeah. So, Jim, how do we guide Jackie?
Well, first of all, Jackie, what's really good is that your son's talking to you. And that's that. I mean, you just want to shout hallelujah for that, because a lot of times if a son is going through some tough times, or a daughter who's a young adult, they don't go to parents and talk because you're not safe. The parents aren't safe. And the parents will say, well, why don't they talk to me about it? Well, that's probably because you're not safe. You're going to preach at them or do maybe what your mega church is doing, in terms of being maybe a little bit too blunt. So please hear that. You're safe. That's a good thing. And so I would do a lot more listening than speculating, because you can kind of do what we call overthinking on this, because truly a lot of 26-year-olds may not like today being in a mega church that has, very, very strong views. That might not even be his view, or where I didn't hear you saying that you've seen him, moving in a direction with his own sexuality. I heard you say that, he struggles with how your church does it. And so honestly, at 26, maybe a new church or a different church could be the thing. I mean, what do 26-year-olds need? They need the Word of God. They also need community. And if he's not finding the community there, he could find a very loving community that has the same beliefs that you and I have. And so, but you don't want to overthink this and take it down a road that he's not going. Now, because you're safe, you can continue to have these kind of conversations with him, but the conversations, it's better if he's at least 75% of the conversation and you're only 25%, because you want to listen. That's how we're going to learn, where he is and what he's doing, and show love the whole time. I mean, that's what Jesus did. Jesus led with love. He practiced kindness to all, even though he didn't agree with what they were doing. And so, for you, at 26, he's what we call an emerging adult. We used to call them latent teenagers. But, he's still an emerging adult. He's still trying to figure it out. And so he's going to experiment with words. He's going to experiment sometimes with behavior. He's going to experiment with a lot. And you're his numero uno in terms of relationship. And so he's going to want to see what you think. And maybe, I'm not telling you to leave your church by any means, but maybe say, hey, you know what, I'd like to investigate a church, or do you have a church that you're looking at? And if he was willing to do that, you might be able to go, oh my gosh, this is a great place for him. So I wouldn't go down the road too fast.
Okay. And thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that. And I think that's what really, I guess, shocked me, because I said, okay, because we did belong to a smaller church before, and it was great. But when he told me, he said, well, no, he said, how am I going to invite, a friend, if, because he didn't come out and say, that he was struggling or questioning his sexuality. But he did say, oh, I have a friend, how am I going to invite a friend? And then they hear that, oh, you're wrong. And listen, I said, well, Jackie,
let me jump in, because we just have over a minute left. And so, Jill, you were going to say something?
Jackie, I think I want you to really hear what Jim was saying about the listening. The more you can get your son to articulate, the better. I mean, the fact that he's been going to your church all this time and he's 26 is kind of amazing, but maybe he's separating and individuating now.
Yeah.
And let him articulate what his struggle is to you. Ask questions, be curious, but try to keep your anxiety at bay and your fear. You don't want to lead with fear. You share that like with us, with your husband, with a friend. And your son, may be just struggling with his identity and ideology too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and again, I think it's really difficult, but really important for us parents that we not continue writing bad stories about our children's future based on where they are today.
Yeah.
And it's the horrible stories we write in our own head that create this anxiety that block connection rather than create it. And so go to work on that anxiety. We're going to send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children that Jim wrote, and believe that will be very helpful. Jackie, thank you for being with us today. Jim, Jill, thank you for hanging out with me today. And everyone, thank you for being part of our ministry.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.